Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about Ubisoft because they just shut down some studios. They're ending support for one of their games that just came out, and people are beginning to ask, is Ubisoft going to survive in 2025? To be honest, I think this is the end of Ubisoft, but I want to explain why. I want to talk about the shutdowns, and I want to just examine this because I do think that Ubisoft is now a company that has a big target on its back. People are cheering for its failure. But let's talk about that. I hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So, XDefiant is a game that personally I did not play, but Ubisoft did seem to be very genuinely proud about it. Their idea was to make a more strategic shooter that was supposed to be a COD killer, right? In fact, in the comment section, a lot of people are making jokes about the fact that, okay, why is it that every first-person shooter that's focusing on getting engagement and streams and stuff like that, why do they call themselves the COD killer? Another title added to the Ubisoft graveyard. Now, I've actually seen a lot of people using this term, the Ubisoft graveyard, or even the AAA graveyard, because it does seem like the amount of games that fail now is becoming a bigger and bigger batch. The amount of games that are actually successful just continues to get bigger and bigger. But here's what's crazy about XDefiant failing. This came out in May. This game has not even been out for 6 months, and not only are they actually saying it's shutting down, they're sending refunds. So I think this is a pretty clear sign that they lost all their money on it. And I think it's a pretty obvious sign that not only did this not make the hundreds of millions of dollars they spent making it, it didn't make that back. But additionally, I think it's showing that nobody played it. Even fully refunding every single microtransaction doesn't actually matter. But before we actually take a look at the statement of the developers, I just want to just acknowledge this. Here is the list of the games released by Ubisoft in 2024, and all of them have failed. Skull and Bones was a flop. I actually reviewed that, and wow, is that one of the worst games I've played this year. Star Wars Outlaws, personally, I had quite a bit of fun with it, but man, did people not enjoy the fact that it launched in such an unfinished and weird state. Making a sneaking Star Wars game, not exactly the best idea. Rogue Prince of Persia, I also enjoyed, but I feel like I'm the only person in the world that even knows that exists. They made a Prince of Persia roguelike. Did you know that? Of course you didn't. Then there's Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which was a Metroidvania Prince of Persia that came out in January. I think they already admitted that thing flopped. And then Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. All of these games flopped. All these games collectively is $1 billion of development. Like, that's an actual number. This is stuff that cost them $1 billion total, and they made pretty much none of that back. It is wild to actually just fathom how much money is being pumped into AAA development. But which studios are shutting down? So it's Ubisoft San Francisco and Ubisoft Osaka are both being shuttered. So they're basically taking the teams. They're keeping half of the employees and moving them to other projects, but a lot of these people have already been given their severance pay. They're already being told to get out of the building. We're about to lock the doors. Now, I don't even want to read this statement because it's the typical stuff. We've read a lot of studio closure statements this year. I hate that we've had to read so many, but even Tango, so many studios have just completely shuttered. So the fact that they're like, oh, it's so heartbreaking. It is weird to think that a lot of times these statements, as genuinely moving as they are a lot of times, they're not even written by the employees. You know, it's not like the people are getting a chance to express, hey, it sucks that Ubisoft is shutting us down. We were very passionate about the project, but now we're all getting kicked out anyways because we entered a market that's way too saturated with live service games. It's bizarre. This is a huge disappointment. XDefiant is a solid game that just has that missing little extra to make it stand out. I had a blast with it when it came out. It just didn't end up staying. I hope they give it another try down the road, if Ubisoft even survives that long. This statement, again and again and again, I keep seeing people talk about the fact that, honestly, Ubisoft's management is terrible at this point. It feels like they keep launching games that nobody wants, that nobody's interested in. They're funding projects that go nowhere. It is wild to consider the fact that Ubisoft just keeps making games that look good, that run good, are decently fun to play, but don't have an audience. XDefiant, from the people I've played it, that person and other people I've heard from say that it's pretty dang good. But in this market now, there are so many live service games. There are so many games just in general. It's hard to get people to play your project, right? But additionally, in this ecosystem of hundreds of free-to-play games coming out every single year, I think a lot of these companies are starting to have the problem of going, okay, if somebody already spent hundreds of dollars in skins and some other first-person shooter, like in this case Call of Duty, if somebody's already been playing Call of Duty Warzone or playing each year's Call of Duty, playing Black Ops 6 and stuff like that, it's hard to tell somebody, okay, start in our game, re-level, unlock stuff, get the equipment you like, buy some skins, browse the store and see if any of this microtransactions actually entice you, quit your game. It just doesn't happen. There's been this battle in the MMO space for a while now, where the MMORPGs, if you're playing one, you're typically not playing another. If you're addicted to World of Warcraft, you're not going to quit World of Warcraft to play New World or Path of Exile or anything like that, or vice versa. If you're super addicted to Final Fantasy XIV, you're not going to quit it to play the new expansion of World of Warcraft. I think all these live service games trying to basically make Fortnite knockoffs or Call of Duty knockoffs, they're all flopping, they're imploding, and it's wild to see it. Now, I did see some people talk about how it's particularly disgusting that Ubisoft is laying these people off in December of basically get out and good luck right before getting what you thought was going to be a Christmas bonus. Pretty bad. Never a good time to get laid off, but this is an extra terrible time. Honestly, that is a good point. I wanted to end with this, a tweet by Paris, or a post by Paris over on Blue Sky, where he says, bummed to hear about even more layoffs at Ubisoft because there was an earlier batch this year that was also very, very bad. Hoping the delay for Assassin's Creed Shadows delivers a hit, or it's going to be even worse in 2025. As excited as I am, or was excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows, they've got to get new management sooner rather than later. Ubisoft is not going to learn their lesson. They're going to keep dumping cash down into the hole and hoping it fills up. But at this point, I think it's pretty obvious that they're done so. I think that Assassin's Creed Shadows, I've said this on the record, I am excited about it. I have not been excited for an Assassin's Creed in quite a while, but I've always wanted a feudal Japan Assassin's Creed, so I am extremely interested in it. But it doesn't feel like the rest of the internet is. And I'm actually curious if it comes out, if it flops, if we just see Ubisoft break apart. There have been rumblings that Ubisoft wants to be acquired, but they're just too big, too cumbersome. The company itself is worth tens of billions of dollars, but not because of the studio and stuff. It's actually more about the IP, owning everything from Prince of Persia to Splinter Cell to all sorts of stuff. It's hard to break that into chunks and sell it off, and they can't find anybody rich enough to buy the entirety of Ubisoft in one big bite. So I do think this is the last year of Ubisoft. And I think that whatever happens in 2025, I think whoever buys Ubisoft, it's going to be even worse. So if you think Ubisoft sucks now, mark my words, it's going to get worse. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. I still sound sick, but I think I beat it. Last night, I slept 10 hours. I really conked out. I think I beat it. I think my body just got it out of the system, and it was so hard fighting it off. I'm still very weak. My hands are kind of trembling and stuff like that, but I think I finally beat the sickness. Now it's just a matter of healing up, which, you know what? I'll be honest. Now that I'm just not deathly sick, feels good to be able to sit up.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.